Hi, I'm Captain Kate Gregory of Brighton Congress Hall Salvation Army in the United Kingdom and Ireland Territory. Over the next few months, we're going to be looking at the spiritual disciplines or spiritual exercises that we can do to exercise our spiritual lives. This week, we're looking at submission. My inspiration has come from Nathan Foster's book, The Making of an Ordinary Saint, my journey from frustration to joy with the spiritual disciplines. And I thought it would be really helpful for some of us to just look at the passages entitled Understanding in this book each week. So after I've preached my sermon on a Sunday, there'll be a little bit more to delve into during the week. This week, submission. Submission is the spiritual discipline that frees us from the everlasting burden of always needing to get our own way. In submission, we are learning to hold things lightly. We are also learning to diligently watch over the spirit in which we hold others, honouring them, preferring them, loving them. Submission is not age or gender specific. We are all, men, women, girls, boys, learning to follow the wise counsel of the Apostle Paul, who said, "Be subject to one another out of reverence for Christ." We, each and every one of us, regardless of our position or status in life, are to engage in mutual subordination out of reverence for Christ. The touchstone for the Christian understanding of submission is Jesus' astonishing statement, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." This call of Jesus to self-denial is simply a way of coming to understand that we do not have to have our own way. It has nothing to do with self-contempt or self-hatred. It doesn't mean the loss of our identity or our individuality. It means quite simply the freedom to give way to others. It means to hold the interest of others above our own. It means freedom from self-pity and self-absorption. Indeed, self-denial is the only true path to self-fulfillment. To save our lives is to lose it. To lose our life for Christ's sake is to save it. It says in Mark chapter 8, verse 35. This strange paradox of discovering fulfillment through self-denial is wonderfully expressed in the poetic words of John Matheson. "Make me a captive, Lord, and then I shall be free. Force me to render up my sword, and I shall conqueror be. I sink my life's alarms when by myself I stand. Imprison me within thine arms, and strong shall be my hand." The foremost symbol of submission is the cross, and becoming found in human form, Jesus humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even death on the cross. Now it was not just a cross death that Jesus experienced, but a daily cross life of submission and service. And we are called to this constant, everyday cross life of submission and service too. All the spiritual disciplines have the potential to be destructive if misused. But submission is especially susceptible to this problem. As a result, we need to be clear regarding its limits. The limits of the discipline of submission are at the point at which it becomes destructive. It then becomes the denial of the law of love, as taught by Jesus, and is affront to genuine Christian submission. These limits are not always easy to define. Often we are forced to deal with complicated issues simply because human relationships are complicated. but deal with them we must. And we have the assurance that the Holy Spirit will be with us and guide us through the discernment process. I'll see you next week.